6 days is a lot of time to work on a video, isn't it? Yeah. Of all the fantasy lines that they could possibly add, which one should I do? Oh, I know what I should do. I should do the O. I sure hope you like the O puns, because they're not going away.
Silly proposals will be read for storytelling, editing a line that used to exist.
So this is one of the lines that I made up in my childhood, and I present it to you now because it's pretty much the only one that had any actual useful function that wasn't entirely pointless. So let's not do any further ado. This is the O line. Let's start with the route. We start at Beach 116th Street. Here we take over the shuttle service, which will increase the service to this area of Queens and also give the O train a yard, though it would probably have to be expanded. We follow the shuttle route up Beach 105th, Beach 98th, Beach 90th, until Broad Channel. Then we continue up the A train, JFK Airport, Aqueduct Racetrack. We could fix that whole debacle. Then we take Queens Link, connecting to the A at Liberty Avenue with the Long Island Railroad, the infill station of the Long Island Railroad, and to the JZ, Jamaica Avenue. This will provide a north-south connection through South Queens, but we're not ending in South Queens, we're continuing north through the park with a stop at Metropolitan Avenue or somewhere in Forest Hills before we get towards Rego Park, where we connect with the M and R trains. Sadly, we can't really connect with the E and F. However, I'm not connecting it to the Queens Boulevard line. Most proposals do that, but I'm not going to. Sure, we can put in tracks that do that, but there'll be no actual service that does it. Instead, we're going to continue up Junction Boulevard. You know, we already have a north-south Queens connector. Why not make it Queens Connector more connector? Connecting more of Queens with more connector-ector. So after Rego Park, the line dips underground. The darker color on the map depicts the fact that it's underground. It's just not politically feasible to build a line that elevated in New York anymore. So we're going to do it underground. Don't worry, we'll go back overground again. Just you wait. We'll have a stop at 57th Avenue and 44th Avenue, which will connect to the Port Jervis line. We'll connect to the Port Washington branch. Or it could be just one station. Who knows? It's the MTA. And then we will stop at Roosevelt Avenue on the 7. Luckily, this 7 station is actually an express station, unlike the Queens Boulevard line. So what do we do with the 7 train? Why, we keep going. And we head up to Northern Boulevard, then Astoria Boulevard. And, well, if you haven't figured it out, LaGuardia Airport. Now we have a north-south connector through Queens that serves LaGuardia Airport. People from eastern Queens can transfer onto this line and take it up to LaGuardia Airport. People from northern Queens can take this line south to the beach or to JFK Airport, as well as any other trips that necessitate a trip via the Woodhaven Boulevard corridor. So after LaGuardia Airport, we're going to turn this over and head through Grand Central Parkway, and this is where the line will become elevated again. We'll have a stop at 81st Street and Grand Central Parkway. It will be highway median, I'm sorry. Now here I have 2 choices for route. The one that I think will more likely be chosen would be an Astoria Boulevard route. We continue it straight down Grand Central Parkway, stopping at Hazen Street or 48th Street, Steinway Street, and then just before Astoria Boulevard on the N&W at 31st Street, we dip underground and we'll have a stop with the N&W. The other option is taking the line down the BQE and tunneling underground on 30th Avenue with a stop at 48th Street and Steinway Street and 31st Street to connect with the N&W. This would provide a better connection to a more dense area of Astoria, and it wouldn't be surrounded by a big highway. But it would be more expensive, and it's closer to the Queens Boulevard line. Personally, I think going via Astoria Boulevard would be chosen, especially because it'll be a lot cheaper and it's farther from other lines, but who knows. So either route chosen, they'd merge back together at a 21st Street station. Actually, no, they'd be different spots. but they'd be close enough. And then we continue under the East River and head along 86th Street. Surprise! It's a crosstown Manhattan line. We have a stop in Yorkville at 2nd Avenue connecting with a Q, but the platforms will probably extend over the 1st Avenue. Then we have a station for Lexington Avenue connecting with the 4, 5, and 6, conveniently, express station. Then we continue across Central Park. It'll probably dip south slightly to avoid the reservoir. Let's be frank, this will be a deep bore tunnel because that's just what it's gonna be. There is no way the Upper East and Upper West Side are gonna let them cut and cover under 86th Street. It's gonna have to be tunnel bore. Because of its depth, it may not need to avoid the reservoir, but I could see them doing that anyway. After Central Park, we have a station at Central Park West connecting with the B and C. You could add express platforms due to the layout of the tunnel, but I'm not sure if it's worth it to slow down that ride. And at last, one more stop. But it's not 86th Street on the 1. No, see, we want to connect to the express station. On the ABCD, there was no nearby express station to work with, but there is an express station nearby to work with on the 1, 2, 3. So, we have two options here again. We either pull it up Amsterdam and then end at 96th Street on Broadway with the 1, 2, 3, or we pull it south down Amsterdam, perhaps with a stop on like 84th and Amsterdam, and bring it to 72nd Street on the 1, 2, and 3. From here, it could become a 10th Avenue line heading further down towards Hell's Kitchen and Chelsea, but I'm going to end it here. How would it operate? It would operate as a normal subway service, probably 5-minute frequencies, with a yard at Rockaway or at LaGuardia Airport. There's maybe space to work with there. Probably not. There will also be tail tracks on the Manhattan end to store more trains. What equipment? So there. That's your rolling stock. People who want to go north-south in Queens. People who take Woodhaven Boulevard. This is an overly congested corridor, and so building a subway line would really relieve it. It would also connect to LaGuardia Airport, distributing passengers from this line to most of the other New York City subway lines where you could take it to where you want to go. People on the Rockaways would now also have a more direct connection to more of the system, and people trying to go crosstown on the Upper West and Upper East sides will also have a subway line for that. People going from Astoria to Upper Manhattan will also now have a subway. Well, having those go away, Having those two elevated sections would certainly help with the cost. It would probably be funded by a mix of city, state, and federal money because, that's kind of how they all are. Now, I may hear some detractors going about. One argument a detractor of this line would probably have, it would make building the NW extension to LaGuardia significantly less likely. And that's one of the biggest downsides to this project. It would be a lot more likely if you pick the 30th Avenue route instead of the Astoria Boulevard route, but nonetheless. Now the line will have people riding in it with two different primary functions. The first one is the North-South Queens connector, getting from North Queens to South Queens and vice versa. The second is getting to and from LaGuardia Airport and into Manhattan / crosstown. This is because we're essentially taking two ideas for a line and combining them together. I do suspect that the LaGuardia Airport to Manhattan section will get more ridership than the LaGuardia Airport to the Rockaways section, just because there's more people wanting to go to LaGuardia Airport and from LaGuardia Airport. Therefore, I would like to introduce short turning. We will short turn not at LaGuardia Airport, but at Junction Boulevard. Some services will start from Manhattan and end at Junction Boulevard. I want to do it at Junction Boulevard because I think that people coming from LaGuardia Airport and going to the 7 train will be quite common, and people from that part of Jackson Heights are probably commuting to Manhattan via this line as well. Now, the O train is not the first line with two ideas smashed together in the New York City subway. The G train is that as well. It's a north-south Brooklyn to Queens connector, as well as a Myrtle Avenue elevated replacer. And you see, at Bedford Nostrand, that station has 2 platforms, 3 tracks, because they suspected that the Myrtle Avenue replacement section would get more service than the Brooklyn to Queens section, so you could short-turn a train in the middle there. I propose the same thing for Junction Boulevard Station, with the same layout, 3 tracks, 2 island platforms. So this is very much all the time I have for this. Thank you for watching. I forgot to do a lot of O puns. Please forgive me. And I hope now you will put the O on your fantasy maps. I'm gonna win the O award, aren't I?